Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to welcome you, warm welcome on the next episode of Legal Coffee. This time we are drinking coffee with Spanish flavor. Yes, my guest today is Martin Pech, who is an advocate from Bufete Mañá-Krier from Barcelona, but located in Santa Cruz, yes, in Tenerife. Hola Martín, ¿qué tal?
Muy bien, buenas tardes, Renata. Thank you very
Buenas
much.
tardes. Me alegro mucho de que estás conmigo y estás listo para un café español.
Pues sí, muchas gracias por invitarme también al café y estoy encantado de estar aquí contigo.
As you see, we can speak multi languages. It was really nice to speak a few words in Spanish, so we convert to English right now. Martin, before Martin introduce himself, I would like to say hello to everybody again and say a little bit about this legal coffee project, which is a virtual project within the Warwick Legal Network. Warwick Legal Network is a international network of independent law offices from different countries. We cover right now around 40 countries from Europe, US, Asia, South America, and around 600 lawyers on the table ready to serve our clients' needs and expectations. I'm Renata Lewicka, Chair of Board in Warwick Legal Network, and I have a real pleasure today to speak with Martin about the main topic, which are properties. Buying, how to wisely buy properties. In Spain, rent properties, because the renting could be interesting too for some property owners. Before we go to the legal topic, we start maybe with the part of coffee. Martin, can you introduce a little bit yourself? Tell us a few words about you, your areas of expertise, and the company you work for.
Yeah, hello. So, first of all, my name is Martin Pech, for those who don't know me yet. I'm lawyer at Bufete Mañá-Krier-Elvira in Barcelona. There's where our main office is. But I'm located also in our office in Tenerife. And our expertise is especially corporate law, employment law, and tax law. Especially always cross-border situations are many of the topics we deal with. And further to that, we have also a litigation department, and we do also many topics in civil law, which basically is inheritance and properties.
Inheritance. That could be connected somehow with the properties too.
Definitely. That's why we're connected to both of them, because normally you buy something and you keep it your whole life, but at the end, this can be something also in inheritance in Spain, or especially if you're somebody of your family have bought something in Spain, then you have to deal and you live all your life in another country. Maybe one day you have to deal with Spanish inheritance law, and that's why this thing is connected with the property, and that's why we have this expertise in both areas, especially in this international situation.
Mm-hmm.
And Warwick
Yes,
Legal offer us this
you do a
possibility.
lot of international work, as I know. With you have different type of desks. Yes, German, Swedish, French, which is very great. Yes, because you have opportunity to support clients from different jurisdictions and locations.
Correct. Our office is like big speaking different kind of languages. Sometimes you hear like 4 or 5 languages the whole day around us, and that's quite. It's really nice to be in such international situation, and that's why we're happy to work with Warwick Legal Network. Definitely because of that, because it's something which is really interesting, and we can add this.
Lots of interesting referrals between us. So Martin, what's your favorite coffee?
My favorite coffee is one coffee which nobody I think will know here. because it's a coffee which you only can find in Canary Islands, which is called the barraquito.
Barraquito.
Barraquito. Because
Okay.
if you ask barraquito in the rest of Spain, they won't know what that is. But it's a nice coffee because it's something which is typical in Spain. A coffee served in a glass, with different layers. You start to put with some condensed milk in the glass. Then you put a bit of coffee, a bit of frothed milk, and a shot of liquor, which the typical Spanish liquor is liquor 43. Then you add a slice of a lemon, of the peel of the lemon, and a bit of cinnamon. And that's the typical barraquito in the Canary Islands.
Okay, so barraquito is typical for Canarian, but when you go to the land, yes, to the main part of Spain, they don't know much about the barraquito. They drink cortado, yes?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have many times tried to ask for a barraquito in many places in Barcelona or Madrid or where else in Spain, and they look at me like, where do you come from? So basically, you have to ask for a cortado, which is the typical espresso in Spain. They call it here cortado natural, which is normal espresso, or cortado con leche with milk.
Leche.
And this is con leche, correct. This is something which is mostly drank here in Spain.
Okay. So this coffee part is, of course, very interesting, but it could be maybe, can you tell me about a little bit how Spanish drink coffee? They drink coffee whole day, like Italian. We know from the last meeting with Domitia that they drink espresso all the time, even after the dinner, yes? So how it works in Spain?
Yeah, I think this South European mentality is also here in Spain. We mostly drink, and I also drink, I think, a bit too much coffee. That's true. But you usually start the day with drinking a cortado, and after midday you drink another one, and also after dinner, which in Spain we eat dinner really late, normally 9-10 o'clock in the evening. Then afterwards you still order. Some people order a cortado after the dinner. So. Spain drinks a lot of coffee, definitely.
Yeah,
and the typical place is the cafeteria. It's the place
if you need to find someone, let's check the cafeteria.
Yeah, the cafeteria. If you're searching for someone, especially who works in the public administration, if you don't find it, maybe he's in the cafeteria.
Cafeteria. Yeah, that's very typical for south part of Europe. Yes, that. Everybody is in it, and the way of drinking is very short and
really
go.
Short, definitely. You can be 1 minute in the cafeteria. You ask, you drink, you pay, you go.
Yeah, because normally we sit to the table. Yes, we savor the coffee, but I know that Italian and Spanish, they just drink and go to do something else. Okay, Martin. So after the coffee. We can get back to our main topic of our meeting today, which are properties in Spain, buying, selling, and lending. I would like to ask you how to wisely buy, if you want to invest in a property in Spain. What few basic factors should be taken into consideration?
Definitely, I think to start here, you should have clear what you want to buy and for what you want to buy. So if you're looking for
the purpose, yes, the purpose.
The purpose. Why are you buying? Are you buying it for your family and to live in Spain, or are buying it as an investment because you want to have a place just for vacational living and afterwards also rent it to another third parties or something? So definitely, if you start looking for something in Spain, there are so many different regions, and depending what you're looking for, maybe something is more suitable than other things. So before you start buying something, go there, check the location, and see if it fits to you. Once you have, once you have clear, if you know when it fits you, then you start the real process for searching the property.
It's the similar as when we discussed with Domitia about the Italy. She said that there is an offer, for example, from someone who wants to sell the land or the building or the house, whatever it is, and you as a potential buyer shall check this property, and if there are some kind of, I don't know, defaults or something is wrong with this property, you can offer something else. So you can prepare a different offer. Is similar in
It
Spain?
can work. Yeah, it can work. It
Mhm.
depends also on which channel you're buying something. I know that many properties are maybe withheld by a bank, are from a bank. So you can make an offer, and you can go and visit and say, okay, I find here things which you're saying the buying price is this one, but I want to make an offer for another price. So this is something which works. I think it works more if you're dealing with banks than with directly with private person who wants to sell because they have in mind maybe a fixed price they want to sell at any kind. But normally, many of the properties you will find them mostly through a real estate agency. So, and
Yes.
with a normal price set already there. And
So you cannot negotiate the price in that situation.
if you have the contact with the seller, maybe you can negotiate. Also, you can ask if, okay, I want to offer it for this price. Can you ask the seller if
Mhm.
it's okay for that? Maybe because he needs to sell, he wants to sell because he's holding it so long already that for another lower price he would sell at the end. So this is something
Okay.
you have also to look and keep in mind that's possible, but they don't have to at the end. And
Mhm. And you mentioned the channels. So when I compare it to Poland, we have different channels, yes, because you can have a real agencies. They put some offers on their side. You can have a private line, yes, when directly the property owner offers a property.
mhm.
Which is probably when you think about the commercial properties, it's not very popular. Yes, but normally deals with a real estate agent, and this agent is doing lots of things. Yes, he's doing research, confirming some things about the legal status of in a land and mortgage register, and etc. So you can trust that it is okay. Everything is okay with this property. Of course, still you need to check it and probably check the wording of any legal document you sign. How it works in Spain?
Yeah, definitely. Because mostly all of the properties in Spain, most of them are going through a real estate agency because private person are not mostly used to try to sell. You can find that definitely, but most I think in 80-90% you will find if you're looking for the internet even for a property you will find below always as an agency behind who's dealing with you. So normally you can trust most of the agency, but not at all, not completely blinded to go with the real estate agency because they mostly will try to sell it as soon as possible because they get commissions when they sell.
Mhm.
So they use them. They can send you a standard contract or put some conditions on that, and they will can make you hurry at the end, and maybe you need time because you need time to get a mortgage for if you're buying a property, or even you need time to check the whole situation. And that's why mostly in these cases we recommend to get a legal advisor, especially to make a due diligence on the object, to check who is the owner in the property register, what encumbrances are registered, is it coordinated with the cadastre, and
Okay.
that's why it's important.
So trust but check. Yes,
Yeah,
as always. Yes, that you need to be careful in each time, even if there is a real estate agent representing this property, because it's your. What happens if you buy something, for example, where you didn't check it, and there are some defaults, or there is
yeah.
any potential claim to the property owner?
Well, if you had the possibility to check that and you didn't do that, then it's a bit more complicated. If the seller has hidden this information somehow, or he knowledge knowledgeably has sold you a property but has hidden the problems behind, then there can be a liability from the seller. But in any case, that's why we recommend previously to check everything. And especially because the real estate agencies, they will mostly in this kind of sales will make you a pre-contract. And in Spain, there's a typical pre-contract, which is called the Contrato de Arras, and which is basically a deposit contract. Once you have the property, and in order to have a reservation on the property that you're going to buy it, they will let you sign a contrato de arras, in which basically if you are seller, if you're buyer not purchasing at the end, you will lose the deposit. Otherwise, if the seller doesn't sell to you, he has to double the amount and pay you the deposit back with a double amount. Normally, in the practice, this deposit is around 10%.
Okay, so I think that we have similar situation in Poland. Yes, that you have this preliminary contract, which of course is more binding for the property for both parties, but for the person who is buying the property. Yes, that you need to pay some percentage of the amount, and then when you don't execute the final contract, you just lost this money. There could be a different reason. So is it obligatory to have this contract before the final one?
No, it's not. The preliminary contract is not binding. It's not something you need to have. So if something is clear, if the payment is clear and you have checked it, you can directly go to the notary. But in the most cases, this isn't so, because the real estate agency, they want you to sign the preliminary contract. It's also you will sign also the agreement with them, so they can be sure that you will be buying the property at the end. But normally, we as tax advisors, we don't recommend this contract, the contrato de arras, because there's this possibility that the seller can go back from this purchase by paying you the double amount. And then at the end, the property you really want to buy, you don't buy it at the end.
You just lost the chance, yes.
You get some money, but you don't have the property at the end. And that's why we recommend another type of contract, which is basically the option purchase contract.
Option purchase, yes.
Option purchase contract, because in this case, you as buyer have a bit more of control over the contract, and you are the one who goes and sets the date to the notary to sign the object, to buy the object, and the vendor has not the chance to buy you out. You in the terms of the contract, you set a fixed date. Until that date, you have the option to purchase the property. If you don't that, you lose the deposit, similar as in the other contract. But you have it under control that the vendor does not maybe find another third party interested and buy you out.
It happens often that the vendor is trying to be more proactive, yes, and find more potential buyers.
It can happen, yeah. We have seen cases that it happens. So that's why we don't recommend the contrato de arras at all. So for a purchaser, we recommend the other type of contract. But mostly the real estate agents, they have this contrato de arras so standard that they automatically give you that, and they say sign this, and that's why we recommend.
Okay.
Get a legal advisor.
And is a form, the form of this preliminary contract is a written form, or you need to go to the notary?
Normally, it's written form. Normally, you make it private. You can also go to the notary, but normally you go to the notary for the purchase deed, contract, because the preliminary contract is at the end a contract which guides the purchase contract at the end. So it's a document which leads to that and sets some conditions, previous conditions, for the final document you sign at the notary.
Okay, so when we think about the legal traps which could be involved in this transaction, this type of contracts, yes, you need to take into consideration that they are different types, and maybe not the preliminary contract is the best option for you. What else?
Definitely. I think another legal trap is especially the time sensitive matter. It takes time to check the property, to look at the incurrences and everything in the property register. But also, if you have to finance the deal and you need to ask for a mortgage from a bank, there's a new regulation in Spain that you need to go twice to the notary for a mortgage. You need because the notary in Spain will ask you first if you have received all the information from the bank that you're accepting to that you're accepting to sign a mortgage deed. What does it imply you, and what are the consequences of that? So there must be this is something from like protection of the consumer. So there is a deadline between one thing and the other, which needs time. And further to that, mostly the banks, they will also go you through a know your customer process, which they will check where the funds come, etc. So many people put short deadlines in this kind of contracts, which basically you can't hold at the end. And that's something really important to have time, because then you might lose the deposit at all because you don't have the financial for the bank cleared out at the date. And then the seller goes back and says, okay, you don't have the money until that date. You lost
conditions, yes. So you have to we can enter into agreement. So this important is important to remember. This bank account should be necessary to. So it's better maybe to open it before. Yes.
Yeah. So especially if you're asking a mortgage, that you check the conditions with the bank before you even you sign the contract, the primary contract. You set up.
Can you transfer the money from the the Polish bank to the Spanish bank for the property, for example, with no problem?
You can transfer, but mostly the transfer is not, I think, the big problem. The big problem mostly is to open an account in Spain, because all banks are asking now for information of who you are, and you need to prove where the money comes from, what is your activity, etc. So a bank could take time to do that, and to open for you a bank account. In some cases, you can also
directly to the, for example, to the seller. Can you transfer the money directly to the seller?
That's also possible. You have to ask the seller if it's going to accept that, but you can also do a transfer from a account outside of Spain, from a foreign account to the Spanish account of the seller. This is possibility, and will be then included. The transfer receipt will be included in the public deed.
When you are from EU, it's probably easier. Yes, when you are a citizen outside the EU, it could be. I presume it could be more complicated. I remember that transaction we had in Dubai. Yes, when as a completely not resident, you need to follow very complicated procedure to become the resident, to open the bank account, and then you can buy a property. Yes, so it's definitely you should check if anything before that transaction is necessary from your side, to not be surprised, as you said. Yes, but you lose, for example, your deposit. Is it possible for other citizens, not Spanish, to have a credit in Spanish banks for this purchasing property?
Well, definitely you can open a bank account, or you have a credit, or you can deal with the bank as foreign. But to open the bank account at all, you will need also a tax number in Spain and registration in Spain. You don't need to be citizen or tax resident in Spain, but you will need a number. And this is important because for this number is an identification number for foreign, yes, which you need for most anything in Spain. And you will need it to open a bank account. You will need it for the purchase, because without this number, the register won't register your deed of purchase, and you will need it for the tax declarations you will have to do when you purchase the object. And the most problem to get this number is that the number, you can only get it by the police departments in Spain, and the police administration is generally always crowded. It's difficult to get an appointment, etc. So sometimes we recommend, or there's a possibility to get that number at the embassy, at the Spanish embassy in your country where you live.
That's possible too. Yes,
that's possible.
that
You
would be
say
probably.
that you're buying a property in Spain, and they will do that mostly. So
Okay. Normally, how long does it take from the moment you see the offer to the moment you have executed the contract? How long does it take? It's a long way. You need your identification number as a taxpayer, as I understand. You need probably maybe the bank account. Yes.
So there can be definitely all these different things can make the process go slower and take time.
Okay.
If you have maybe already an account, or you agree with the seller that you do the transfer from your foreign account, and you have one problem less, and you have maybe a NIE number from other circumstances before in Spain, that sometimes happens also. So then you can go much quicker at the end, because then, and if you even haven't signed a preliminary contract, you can go to the notary, because basically the purchase deed is signed by the notary in Spain, and the notary will ask for certain documents. There are some documents which have been to be provided by the seller, which is sometimes also something we as legal advisor always ask to check before, because this can also delays there's like an energetic certificate and other kind of certificates you have to bring as seller, and sometimes this document can be expired because those documents have a term like 10 years, 15 years, and the seller has forgotten to actualize, to ask for a new one, and then you have to then sometimes 1 month will take again to get a new document. So this kind of things is can make something that can be signed in 1 month to something in 3 months or something. So
okay, so we discussed the process. Is in Spain similar as probably in Italy, for example, when we have this illegal estates? Yes, sometimes in Italy happens that they are houses, you can buy them, but they were not. There was no any permission to build them. So it's not typical in Poland. You need a permission for some size of the house. So you can check this document. Normally, you don't sell without build it without this permission. How it is in Spain?
There are some situations where they have built something without a permit or something. So this is something you also have to check, because not only is what is registered in a property registered, it's something in depending the area of where the property has been put, or maybe there has been some further constructions. They have set like another house or another plan to the building, and they have done it without a permit from the administration, and this happens sometimes, and that's why what you have in the register doesn't correspond to reality, and that's as purchaser something that you have to deal with, like a no-go, or to have it clear that you're buying something that might be possible that sometime the administration can come and say this is not this part of the house or all the house is not legal. You can have consequences for that.
Okay, so this is something you need to take into consideration too. When you are buying a land and want to build something, a warehouse, a house, whatever, you probably will need to follow this administration path too. So this could take time for procedure. And now if we think about lending or leasing the property, yes, when you are an owner of a property and you want to, I don't know, lease it for people who are coming for holiday or coming to live and work remotely, for example, in Spain, what's important to keep in mind in this situation?
Mostly in Spain, the leasing is regulated by the leasing law, and depending of what kind of type of lease, there can be special requirements. If you're looking to lease for vacational rental, for short-time rentals and vacation rental, you have to also check in where it's located, like in some cities and some places, that's really restrictive to that, and maybe you don't even have the possibility because you need a permit for vacational rental. So this is something you have to check previously if you're going to do an investment for that. Otherwise, you can always lease on long term. Maybe you buy a property you want to just use for time or for just as investment and do a long-term contract. In Spain, there have been some changes to the Leasing Act, and mostly the duration of the contracts now, if you don't, are taking up to 5 years of minimum duration of the contract.
Minimum duration.
So, yeah,
this is a lot.
This is a long time. This is a long time, and the law protects more the tenant in the sense that the tenant can desist of the contract after 6 months. If you agree in a contract to pay an indemnification, then you can do that. But the rights are more protective for the tenant than for the leaser himself. So there are many things to keep in mind if you're going to do that as leaser, and that's why we always recommend.
Always to consult. That's what will be, I think, the main for the end of our meeting. Yes, to first of all think before you sign anything. Yes, to check with a local lawyer the best option. Yes, the conditions of any document you are signing. Anything else?
Yeah, I think, yeah, definitely. I always can recommend to for the purchase to get some advice, and because also if it's for planning on long term, the advice will not only be in the purchase, but maybe during the investment you need to have control over the rental agreements, the taxes you have to pay over the property in Spain. So I always recommend, definitely, if you're buying, especially as foreigner in a country you don't know the laws, use the advice. We are happy always to help.
Yeah, because the tax is different, yes, in the different parts of Spain. So you need to remember that could be different in islands and different on the continent. Yes, it's better to buy from a tax point of view. It's better to buy on island or somewhere on a continent.
It can be, depending the region, it can be in the island also better, because in the purchase tax, an example is when you purchase a property, you have to buy in Catalonia, you have to pay around 10%, and in the Canary Islands 6.5%. So there's a little of difference, but yeah, that's why in other regions is more or less. So this is also one point to keep in mind, that also in the different regions there are different taxes, and that's why we as lawyers know the whole system. That's important to know. You don't have to focus just on one region concretely, because it's all the purchases at the end also state law. But definitely there are some circumstances, particularly in the regions, you have always to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's okay, Martin. It was a real pleasure to talk to you, meet you, and discuss those issues. I have to say that I'm a bit more cleverer right now after those few legal coffees in different jurisdictions. Yes, but the main thought is you need to contact the local lawyer, because it will be more safe for you. Even though he say, okay, the contract is fine, you can sign it. Yes. But it's always good not to base only on the real estate agent or the property owner statements, yes, before you go into any contract. Okay, Martin, thank you very much. My guest today was Martin Pech from Bufete Mañá-Krier-Elvira from Barcelona, located in Santa Cruz on Tenerife. I'm saying goodbye, wishing you a lovely weekend, and see you next time on a legal coffee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much also.